I've worked a lot of my career in the not-for-profit, for-purpose sector. So it's where you're trying to stretch the dollars as far as you possibly can and maximize those resources. And at times it's really hard to maintain your staffing levels because you don't actually have the funds where you can compete with the private enterprise or with government organisations. So I was watching the 4-day week initiative for quite some time before I actually implemented it in my last organisation. I love anywhere that you can look at innovation or look at doing things differently, and I love a good experiment. So I'd waited until the timing was right and then put it forward to the organisation to see if we could test it and see if we could prove there are better ways of working. In the mental health sector, as you can imagine, there are great challenges. So staff attraction and retention is hugely difficult, trying to compete with the wages of the government or the hospitals, trying to actually reduce burnout or maintain reasonable levels of burnout within this sector is also a challenge. So when I read the reports and saw that the 4-day week could actually help reduce burnout, increase productivity, and help you with your staff attraction and retention, to me it was an absolute no-brainer to give it a try and see if it could have a positive impact on a small not-for-profit. Look, because you're working with people, I accepted that it was going to take some time. I know that the research was showing that you could get change within 6 months. I was hopeful we'd get it faster than that, and the reality was we did. So within 3 months, we started to see some really significant improvements. Staff were talking about how much happier they were, how engaged they were with their work, how much more productive they were, and how many more clients they were able to see. So there's a lot of positives that came with that, and we were seeing that in the first few months of actually doing the experiment. The other thing with the health sector, aged care is another area where there's some significant challenges. So there's examples, and again, back to the US, where there's some really great examples, when nursing homes or aged care facilities have actually got nurse aides, so those who are helping deliver the actual care, not the actual registered nurses themselves, where these nurse aides are actually working 5 days a week, but 6-hour shifts. And by doing that, they're actually able to retain staff. Part of the conditions of being paid that 38 hours is that you don't call in sick, you don't shorten your shift, you have a normal lunch break, all of those types of things. So people are prepared to do that and follow the rules if it means they're going to get paid for those extra 8 hours for free. If you have an attitude of, well, that's just the way we've always done it, you're probably not going to cope by going through this process. So you really want to be open and able to actually look at what's happening, question things, and be prepared to change them and test them out in a different way. Communication is also critical, and having good communication. So being open and transparent with your team. The process that we use by going through and helping people adapt or plan and design their trial means that the leadership will actually set the parameters and set the vision and the key measures for success, but then they hand that across to the teams and get them to design how do they do their work differently, ensuring that they can still meet those KPIs. So it takes a level of trust, but also open communication for leaders to be able to hand that across to their teams and for them to do that work at the grassroots. Probably the top thing when we talk about misconceptions is that the 4-day week is all about cramming 5 days worth of work into 4. So you just got to jam it all in and then put it into that smaller envelope. The reality is that's not it. We're actually talking about working differently, working smarter, not harder, and having an opportunity to rethink how things operate within an organisation. Look, the other thing that people often say from a misconception perspective is this can't happen in a client-facing service. We have customers, they come to our front door, this can't possibly work. Reality is it can. So there's a police service that we worked with, City of Golden in Colorado. So police service, 24/7, 7 days a week type of service, who have to answer to their taxpayers. They have successfully trialled for over 12 months now, putting a 4-day week in place. And what they have found is that they have not only improved their staff attraction and retention, but they've also improved their response times to emergencies and also improved their community connection. So they're actually still doing the same amount of work. They're just doing it in a different way. They've also been able to fill all of their positions that they previously weren't able to fill. And so that attraction element has been really strong as a result of them doing the 4-day week trial. The work that we do with people when they prepare to do a 4-day week, it's not just about the 4-day week. It's actually just good for their organisation and good for their workflows and businesses. So it's something you can do at any time. One of the challenges, though, is that I work with companies and they say, look, we've told our staff they can redesign their job. We've given them that opportunity. Here it is on a platter, but they're too busy and they don't do anything about it. The difference is the motivating factor. And with the 4-day week or a 4.5-day week or a 9-day fortnight, with those reduction of hours, there's the motivation. I will gift you this time back if you can do your work differently and we can still meet our organisational goals.